Hello students, in last lecture we have started with law of demand. I have explained you the introduction statement part. Again we have discussed about the schedule and graph. Now in this session we will discuss about the assumptions of law of demand. So let's see the assumption part. Assumptions. Now, if you remember in the statement we have written other things being constant. Other things means which things? Whatever these assumptions now which we are going to study, those things should remain constant. That is called assumptions. So in the statement we have written other things being constant, higher the price, smaller is the quantity demanded. So those other things, the statement starts with other things being constant. Those other things are nothing but the assumptions of the law. Remember student, whenever law is proved, at that time for proving that law we have to assume few conditions. We have to assume some conditions. They are like, if these things are there constant, then and then only this law is possible to prove. Okay, so let's begin with our first assumption, that is constant level of income. Now see, we have seen the determinants of demand. In that we have seen that how income affects the demand. If our income increases, our demand also increases. If our purchasing power increases, in the same manner if demand falls, our purchasing power falls, therefore our demand also falls. We have seen this as a determinant. Same is applicable. Now proving this law, what the law proves? Law says that when price is higher, demand is lower, and when price falls, demand is higher. This is the law which we are going to prove. But in some cases it is not possible. For example, see here, see the yellow color arrow. If the income falls, income of a person falls, salary, whatever his income, if it falls, obviously his purchasing power, concentrate on yellow color, obviously purchasing power also falls. As the purchasing power falls, therefore the demand also falls. Now see the pink color arrow. If income rises, his purchasing power also rises and his demand also rises. Okay, so we are going to assume that to prove this law, that at higher price less is demanded, at lower price more is demanded. To prove this law, we are going to assume that the person's income will remain constant, because once the income changes, again even though the price is same, but because of change in income, our structure, our demand structure is totally changing. Therefore to prove this law, we are going to assume that level of income, or whatever the income he is getting, the person is getting, it should remain constant. Now next, no change in size of population. Again the determinant, we have seen population, how it affects the demand, because if higher the population, more will be the demand, and less the population, less will be the demand. So we are going to assume that while proving this law of demand, we are going to assume that whatever the population in that area should remain constant. It should not be more or it should not be less. Whatever it be, it should be the same. Okay, so see the yellow arrow. If population rises, demand rises. Blue, if population falls, demand also falls. So again we are assuming that population should remain constant. Next, price of substitute good remain constant. It is assumed that the prices of substitute remain unchanged. For example, I have told you, suppose we are going to purchase Pepsi, and suddenly we found that Pepsi is costlier. Then we start finding another solution, another substitute. For example, Coca-Cola, Maaza, anything. So what I will see, I will compare the prices. So if I found that substitute prices falls or rising, it affects its demand. Therefore take the example here. I have taken the example of sugar and jaggery. Suppose the price of sugar is falling, obviously people are going to buy more and more sugar and less of jaggery. Okay, so price of one good affects the demand of another good. So we are going to assume that even substitute goods price should remain constant. Otherwise, our law is not applicable. Let's see the next. Prices of complementary goods to remain constant. Complementary goods, we all know, are petrol, ink, and we call it as a complementary goods. That means when we are going to purchase one, you have to compulsory purchase the another good also. So it is assumed that the prices of complementary good remain constant. Why we are saying constant? If you remember, for example, if petrol prices are rising day by day, it automatically affect the demand of petrol car. Demand of petrol car starts falling because petrol is getting costlier. So they are assuming that they should also remain constant. Then only my law is possible to prove. Okay. Next. No expectations about future changes in price. Remember, we are discussing determinants only, and every time we are saying that it should remain constant. Why? Because if it gets disturbed, we are not able to prove our law, because law says that when price falls, demand rises, and when price rises, demand false. We are going to prove this inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Now, if you remember, expectations about future prices, what it is? Speculations. Speculations means what? We start predicting the future, and if we start predicting the future, we do not behave in a normal way, because we feel that today, even though it's costly, I will go and purchase, because I am predicting that in future, maybe tomorrow it may be more costlier, so I will go and purchase, even the goods are costlier. म्हणजे आता जरी goods costly असले तरी still I am going to buy it, because I have predicted that की उद्या अजून त्याहून जास्त प्राइस हे करणार आहे, वाढणारे, चार्ज करणारे. आणि लॉ काय सांगतो आपल्याला की जास्त प्राइसला आपण घेत नाही, पण अशा केसमध्ये कोणत्या, जिथे आपण फ्युचर प्रेडिक्ट करायला लागतो. It is assumed that consumer do not expect. Now, therefore, we are going to assume that consumers are not going to predict future prices. So presently, if it is 400, future it should be, future is 1000. If presently 400, future is 100. So what is happening? They are predicting, and according to prediction, they have started planning. So it should not be like that. Next, no change in taste, habit, preference, fashion. For proving this law, there should not be no change should occur in the case of that consumer's taste, habit, preference, fashion. It is assumed that consumer's taste, habits, preference, fashions, etc. should remain unchanged. Any change in these factors will lead to a change in demand. See students, in the determinants, we have already proved how these factors affect the demand. If suddenly there is change in taste, suddenly your habits have changed, suddenly there is a change in the fashion, it affects the demand. So remember, these things should also be constant, so that we can respond only to the price. Price falls, demand rises, price rises, demand falls. So we are going to concentrate only on price. That's why we, for other factors, whatever substitute goods, advertisement, fashions, substitute complementary goods, we are saying that they should remain constant. Now next, no change in taxation policy. Now see, taxation policy of the government influence the demand for various goods and services. For example, suppose the person's income is 50,000 and income tax he is paying is 3,000. So after deducting that amount, whatever he is getting, that is called disposable income. What is this disposable income? In national income, we are going to study disposable income. Still, I will tell you, whatever the income he has, after that he is deducting the tax, and after deducting the tax, whatever remains, that is called disposable income. If that disposable income is more, his demand is more. If that disposable income is less, his demand is less. That's why we are saying that there should not be change in the taxation policy, because if taxation policy changes, again everything will get disturbed. Now the last assumption, no change in technology. The technology used in production should be constant. This will keep the standard and quality of product constant throughout the period of law. Because you see, if we apply new technology, it may be cheaper for us. So maybe the goods becomes cheap, so demand will be more. Suppose I have introduced particular technology, and if it's costlier, then I will increase the price again, that it will affect the demand. So what they are saying, whatever the technology we are using, you should use now, presently, and in the future also, so it will not disturb the pricing structure and obviously the demand structure. So here we have finished with all the assumptions. I have already told you, in the exam they will ask you explain the law of demand with assumptions or explain the law of demand with exceptions. If they ask you explain the law of demand with assumptions, then we are going to write introduction part, who has introduced in his famous book, everything we are going to mention. Then statement should be as it is. Then we have symbolical representation, mention their inverse relationship. Then we have written we have drawn schedule and explanation of schedule, then graph and explanation of graph. After that, at least write 4 to 6 assumptions. Okay, with this we have covered one long answer question. In the next session we will discuss about the exceptions of law of demand. I hope you have understood. Thank you.